In today's video, we're going to take a look at the average net worth per person by age in the UK. By looking at these numbers, you can see roughly how you stack up compared to the average numbers and median numbers by your age group. We're going to go by years of 5, so we'll go from 20 to 24, 25 to 29, etc. I'm going to show you the average and median numbers, and we'll go through each of those age ranges, and then I'm going to break down that net worth and that net wealth by category of asset. So we have the numbers here from the ONS, and they break it down by physical wealth, which is including like cars, possessions in your house, jewelry, watches, etc. Then we have property wealth, which is kind of your house, maybe your main residence, any other rental properties that you have, holiday homes abroad, and that's going to give you the equity in your house. So that is essentially the value of your house minus the mortgage that you have outstanding on it. Then we're also going to break it down by pension wealth and also financial wealth, which is your stocks and shares, your current account, your savings account, a general investment account, etc. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly and succinctly as I possibly can, but I'm going to break down again. I'm going to break down the average number and the median number. The average number is a little bit skewed. It's probably going to be a little bit bigger than you might expect, and that's just due to ultra high net worth people. Someone sells their company at 22 for 50 million. That's going to significantly drag that value up for that category of people. So we'll take a look at the average, but we're also going to look at the median number, which is a better number to look at when you're comparing it to your situation. So let's jump in. From 20 to 24, the average total wealth is 32,135, whereas the median total wealth is 12,188. So there's definitely a significant difference there, but again, that just comes down to the ultra high net worth people skewing the data. You might also think that even at the median of 12,188, that's quite high for someone at 20 to 24. But if you think about it, at this age range, there's kind of two main categories. You've got people who have left school at 16, maybe 18, and they've been working for 6 to 8 years at this point, and they have built up some significant wealth. Now, when we actually dive into the data and break it down even further, you will notice that most of this physical wealth comes in the form of possessions, things that they own. Cars is going to be a big portion of that at that age, I would imagine. Inside that physical wealth bracket, financial wealth is not so high. Obviously, people coming out of university, you're just landing your first job at this point, and you're really just starting to get on the ladder, so you're just getting moving. As we go to 25 to 29, the total average wealth is 75,393, whereas the median total wealth is 25,506, which seems more reasonable for that age range. From 25 to 29, you're developing in your career a little bit. Most people have had a job for a few years, probably got a few promotions, starting to build up a little bit of wealth in your pension. Maybe you're on the property ladder. Then when we move on to 30 to 34, the average is 90,730, whereas the median is 56,348. Again, at this point, you're hopefully starting to think about having a family. You're going ahead and purchasing a house. Your wealth really starts to grow. And this is the age where you get that significant jump there of about 20,000, 30,000 in the median wealth. A lot of that is coming from property. As we move on, 35 to 39, we have 146,000 as the average. So them averages are really starting to get up there. You're into the six-figure net worth. And in the median, it's 86,278. As you get into your early 40s, your average net worth is sitting at 243,167. You're hitting that near $250,000 mark there based on averages. But as a median, that average net worth at this point is 135,222. And what's actually really interesting here, I'm going to dive into these again a little bit deeper in a second, but I would want to note here at this category that people's financial wealth at this stage of their life is still extremely low. If we look at the median numbers from 40 to 44, a lot of that wealth is sitting in physical wealth. There's about 20,556 in physical wealth. In property wealth, it's 45,556. So most of that 135,000 median net worth at 40 to 44 is coming from property. Private pension wealth here is 29,000. So there's actually a huge jump in pension wealth from the 35 to 39 to the 40 to 44 range, you're probably getting that because one, then people have just had a little bit more time to compound their money, and two, people really start to think about retirement at that age. And that's why on this channel I want to teach people to start investing in their early 20s and investing in your pension in your early 20s, so you can really grow a lot of wealth before you even reach this point. But as I was saying, in these numbers, their financial wealth is actually only £2,778, which is extremely low if you ask me. That's honestly like a scary number to have just as essentially liquid assets, and maybe not even liquid assets because some of that is in stocks and shares and ISAs, etc. But if that's all you've got in your savings and current account, and this is minus your debts as well from like credit cards and personal loans, etc. But if you feel like you don't have that much liquid money, don't be too worried, because a lot of people's wealth at this point in their life is tied up in property and pensions and then some physical wealth. So if you're going ahead and you're starting at 20 and you're starting to really build a nice portfolio, you're going to be so far ahead of the average that we're looking at here. And I'd actually recommend checking out a video I did on why it's so important to invest early and how a 10-year difference in when you start investing can make such a difference in your life. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next age bracket here, which is 45 to 49. At that age range, you have a total average net worth of $251,731, and as a median net worth, it's about $152,404. As you get into your 50s, you're really starting to peak in your net worth level. So 50 to 54, the average net worth is $305,337, and the median net worth is $194,183. From 55 to 59, the average is $405,000, whereas the median is $247,000. So you're starting to hit that $250,000 range for the median. So that's just the kind of middle person in the UK, has about a $250,000 net worth there at 55 to 59, which is quite shocking because as someone who's very interested in finance and is very kind of focused on how much I think I'll need to retire, it's well into the millions, and the net worth of most people is nowhere near that. And that's quite scary for the retirement of the UK. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as a whole over the next kind of 10, 20 years. From 60 to 64, this is where your net worth peaks, and the average there is £473,550, whereas the median is £311,500. And then what's interesting here is obviously you start to see people retiring. So they start spending their money, their pension value starts to go down. From 60 to 64, your average net worth was $473,000. Once you hit that 65 plus range, that net worth starts to creep down again, and the average is $456,000, and the median for 65 plus there is $292,000. So it starts to creep down, and a lot of that private pension wealth starts to just kind of disappear because people start to spend it. So I'm going to put up these charts on the screen right here, and I'm just going to do this for the median because again, I think these numbers are more accurate for most people. Thank you to nimblefins.co.uk who's put together this data. It is from the ONS, but it's been adjusted on a per adult basis right here. And you can see how this wealth breaks down for everyone. So as I mentioned, it breaks down in physical wealth, property wealth, private pension wealth, and financial wealth. Honestly, what is crazy to me is the financial wealth of most people is extremely low. Even at 65 plus, most people don't have that money in a stocks and shares ISA. Most people are saving, and all the saving that they do is in their private pension. And I probably think about this a little differently than the average person because I've been self-employed most of my life. So I've put a lot of money into my ISA rather than like a private pension, which obviously I would have done if I was working for a company. So a lot of people are saving in there most of the time, and I think that's fine. If you're in a company, you should be maxing out that bonus contribution you're going to get from your company as much as you possibly can, and that's where most people's wealth is going. You'll also see here property wealth increases significantly over time. In 30 to 34, that's when clearly most people are starting to pick up a house. It's gone from 12,000, and that's probably most people's kind of average deposit that they're putting down on a house. And then as you start to pay that off over the years and you're getting a little bit of increase in property value, hopefully, that property wealth really starts to increase up into your kind of 60s where you're in that six-figure range of equity in your property, which is obviously making up a substantial amount of people's net worth. Now, I don't know if that's the greatest form of net worth. I don't know how well property wealth translates into retirement. Obviously, you can go ahead and downsize your house and get a little bit of equity release there, or you can do different things to get money out of your house when you are older. But if you do plan on like passing that house down to your kids or family, you probably don't want to do that. So you want to have enough money in either your private pension or your own financial wealth to be able to do that. So as you can see, most people are growing their wealth in those two verticals. Now, I would recommend, as someone who's watching this channel, you're probably well ahead of the average. So these numbers we're looking at right here, personally, I think they're a bit low for people who watch finance YouTube. You should be going ahead and trying to significantly beat the average. You probably want to be in the top 10, 20% of people in the UK rather than the median here, because most people are not thinking about their finances at all. You, on the other hand, are watching videos on it. You're probably pretty tuned in to having a financial future and having a good financial future at that. These numbers here as the median, obviously I think having 12,000 or so at 20 to 24, for most people that's going to be fine. As you get to your 40s, you know, if you've been investing for the last 15 to 20 years, I would think that you would want to have much more than £135,000 in net worth at that age, especially if you've been investing in a pension and you've got a property that's increasing in value. I would try and get some more money into this financial wealth category. Avoid debt at all costs. Now, these numbers are going to be lower because you've got people who are in debt here, and that is dragging these numbers down as well. But you should avoid debt. Don't get into it. It's just high risk for no reward. Just spend less than you make, and that is literally 99% of finance. If you spend less than you make, you can't go wrong. You literally can't go wrong. You will get richer every single month of the year. If you get paid and you spend less than that, you're going to get a little bit richer over time, and let that money compound in the stock market, in your investments. You can do really well. So that's how net worth breaks down in the UK. Now, before I end this video, I do have one thing for you. I've been tracking my net worth over the past probably 8 or 9 years, ever since I started investing. And I love going back and looking at where my net worth was and where it is now over an 8-year time frame. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Now, I had a pretty scrappy spreadsheet that I had put together that I do this on, but what I've done is I've spent quite a bit of time putting together a much nicer financial net worth tracker. And this net worth tracker allows you to track all of your assets, all of your liabilities, month over month. And over time, you'll be able to see exactly how your net worth is trending, because hopefully your liabilities are going down, your assets are going up, and in turn, that makes your net worth grow over time. So if you do want to access this sheet, I will leave a link down below in the description. For the first week it is live, it's going to be £5. Literally, it's £5. It's very, very cheap. And honestly, look, if you don't want to spend the £5, you want to go and invest that £5 instead, go ahead and copy the sheet. It took me about 3 to 4 hours to create. If you can pull it up, go to the sales page, you can see the full spreadsheet there in the video. You can go ahead and copy it if you want. Or if you want to save yourself 4 hours, probably a wiser investment of your time to just spend that 5 on the sheet if you do want to go ahead and track your net worth. Obviously, January's coming up, start of a new year. Great time to start really focusing on your money and getting it right. So you can go ahead and check that out down below in the description. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Go ahead and leave a like on it if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.